This is Dawn Must Follow Night, Part 1, Chapter 27, read by the author, Hunter Danson. Waiting never got easier. No matter how many times Myriel had been forced to exercise patience, it was still an effort. Now, with so much at stake, all he could do was wait. Not that he expected anything different with the black. One could spend 2 lifetimes trying to study it and preparing to interact with it, but all was vanity. He shifted in his chair and cursed his popping hip. Why couldn't he and Albert have brought something more comfortable down here? Albert. Now how could I have missed that? Percy wondered. Of course, it made sense to him now. The late nights spent studying, and odd quirks Myriel had written off as character traits. That was the way of it, always figuring out what he needed to know after he needed to know it. And when he had tried to get ahead of it, to be prepared for the cataclysm, it had backfired. Would he have even been looking to take on a second librarian if he wasn't so obsessed with research? Myriel sighed and double-checked his hourglass. He had flipped it 3 times since they went into the chamber, but the students would have felt it as one. Time in the black was relative. He took out his record book and looked over the pressure and temperature readings. Applying normal analyses to the black was mostly fruitless, but the blades had a crude scale that Myriel had worked over and perfected so that he could pinpoint the moon of the cataclysm when it was about half a full day away. He could not, however, find any pattern to predict how many full days would pass between each cataclysm. The last cataclysm, for example, occurred after 130 full days. It had been 70 full days since then. He had almost fainted when he squinted at the pressure gauge and took down an abnormal reading. His dread had grown every moon after that as the numbers continued to match with his charts. The night he had used the formulas to calculate the dates he didn't remember what he had done because of all the ale. And now he was here, watching and waiting for 3 students to emerge from the chamber with black eyes. He had never been so disappointed after proving one of his theories right. You know, you don't have to wait down here for 3 moons, Meredith said from behind him. Myriel got up. The prelate was standing a few feet away. Meredith's eyes matched the blackness of the walls so well that the librarian struggled to shake the sensation that he was looking through the blade. I do and I will, he answered. Meredith nodded and frowned at the cavern. I suppose it is for the better. The keep is not as safe as it once was. I thought you were going to. They fired on us without warning, and without regard for the life of their captain. And they used a ram reinforced with steel. Something tells me they will not stop until the castle is taken. Some of the students... Meredith's frown deepened. How many? Myriel asked. The silence pressed down on him while he waited for the prelate to respond. 4. Hob, Fiore, Thane, and Luna. Dimitri and 2 others were wounded. I killed 2 of the knights. The friends stood in the darkness. Myriel felt a greedy smile project out of the expanse. He had told himself that the void of the cavern was only an illusion 1,000 times, but was it? Of course, it had to be. He had walked the tunnel and taken readings countless times. The feeling that he was being watched out of the blackness was only that, a feeling. The alternative was too maddening to consider. Have you thought about the library? Meredith asked. I have, Myriel said. As much as it pains me, you are right. Dindra has shown that they cannot be trusted. I would not be a blade if I did not believe that life comes before knowledge, but it does not make it hurt any less. Meredith nodded. No, it never does.